A lot has happened in the last 2 weeks. I mean, this was 13 days ago, and it's as if it never happened. Part of that is because we have a new presidential nominee, and the country is trying to figure out if she would really make a good president. So here's a perspective from a guy who's decided to vote Trump and just so happens to live in the most liberal city in the country.
New York City.
I want a president who believes in our young people, believes that they're capable of great things. So when I hear something like this, it worries me tremendously.
What else do we know about this population, 18 through 24? They are stupid. That is why we put them in dormitories.
Tell Alexander Wang that people aged 18 to 24 are stupid. He dropped out of MIT to create an AI startup and became the world's youngest self-made billionaire at 25. So I guess you're right. He had to wait till he was 25 because before that he was stupid. Now, my question for Kamala would be, do you want the younger generation to feel inspired by you? Because how could they feel inspired if you call them stupid? To me, it's clear. I don't want a president that treats young adults like they're in kindergarten. I mean, she treats the entire nation like they're in kindergarten, but that's beside the point.
I love electric school buses. I just love them.
I'm afraid that Kamala Harris does not take our national security seriously. This is her talking about Trump's border wall, but she slips up at the end.
This is irresponsible. It's the height of irresponsibility for the commander-in-chief to suggest that we have to build a wall across our southern border because there are terrorists who are trying to invade the country. It couldn't be farther from the truth.
Actually, it's very close to the truth. In fact, it is the truth. The FBI director has been on record multiple times saying that the border crisis poses a serious threat. I'm going to have children one day, and I don't want them to grow up in a country where the borders are open. I really think you are going to see my generation move out of cities in droves and just go to the suburbs and create their own border wall. They don't want to worry about all this when starting a family.
The man accused of killing a Nashville restaurant owner is an illegal immigrant with a criminal record.
An undocumented immigrant is not a criminal, and we have to correct course in this conversation.
There have been immigrants by bus dropped off at Vice President Kamala Harris's residence.
You know, growing up, I used to feel like nobody could get into our country unless it was done through a process. I think because it actually was that way. I read about Obama a lot in college, and he actually had one of the toughest borders and kept our country safe in that sense. They even called him Deporter-in-Chief. It's just a reminder that none of this was controversial until Trump came around. The next thing is her management style. Yes, I'm not planning on working for Kamala Harris, but as a country, and she's our leader, I think it's important to see what her staff thinks about her. Now, 92% of her staff have left her due to the, quote, soul-destroying and toxic environment that she's cultivated. I want to say, though, that there is a huge difference between people firing their staff to improve the quality of work versus people just jumping ship.
Here's what we found. We found in her first year, Harris hired 47 staffers. After 3 years, there's only 4 of those people that have been continuously employed in her office over the course of the past 3 years. And it's actually not getting better. It's getting worse.
So if her very own people don't even stand by her, why should I? Then you have the issue with the police. She wanted to defund the very force that keeps us safe. Have a listen to this radio interview of her in 2020.
Where do you stand on defund the police?
Look, right. So here's the thing. Defund the police. The issue behind it is that we need to reimagine how we are creating safety. And when you have many cities that have 1/3 of their entire city budget focused on policing, we know that is not the smart way and the best way or the right way to achieve safety.
I was actually walking in Central Park not long ago and was assaulted by 6 young men. They tried to surround me and I was able to get away, but the police just told me straight to my face that our politicians won't allow us to do anything. It's not just defunding the police too, it's the fact that she actively raised money for the rioters that did this. How do you feel about the business owners who built their businesses for 30 plus years, sometimes with their families, knowing that the people that burn their businesses down, that Kamala sided with the rioters? Supporting George Floyd isn't a crime, but vandalizing is. And with Kamala, we'd have a president that incentivizes that behavior. This runs so deep as well. Kamala Harris's communication director just straight up tweeted in 2020, defund the police. Now, I've spoken to a lot of New York City policemen, and they are very good people, but will good people want to continue applying to be police officers if their own country doesn't support them? You know, the Biden administration will claim that crime is down, but of course it goes down when you don't report it. There's been many studies of crime being underreported in New York City and throughout the country, and I'll link the most thorough one in the description, but I can just say, living in a big city, I know that crime is not down. It's not down here. I can tell you that for a fact. Now let's talk about foreign policy. Kamala's approach is not one that I'd like to see, but unfortunately, we kind of already have under Biden. She didn't go to the congressional speech of our closest ally and instead went to a prior commitment, which was going to her old sorority in July. It took her 24 hours to condemn the people who burned our flags and defaced our monuments, and her condemning them was just a written statement that again happened 24 hours later. I don't know how you immediately don't just go on camera, film something, have it be a minute, doesn't matter, you're surrounded by 20 cameras, just get it done so we know that you condemn this behavior. We shouldn't have to go to sleep, wake up, and wait an additional 10 hours to know how you feel about this. A foreign policy that I would like to see is if these people that are burning our flags hate it so much here, I would happily pay, through my taxes, a one-way ticket for these people to go to the country that they're protesting for and just take their passport and we'll call it a deal, honestly. I also want to feel confident in my leader's ability to speak with other world leaders. Unfortunately, we already have proof of what that would look like. Here is Kamala with the president of Poland.
You think, and if you asked the United States to specifically accept more refugees?
Okay. A friend in need is a friend indeed.
Okay, I can first.
So there's a difference between saying something funny and other people laughing versus saying something unfunny and you just laughing at yourself. And Kamala really prefers the latter. Refugees are not funny. You didn't make it funny, you just cackled, and I'm afraid of leaders not respecting you at all, which means that they won't respect us, and everyone wants to feel respected. The last issue I'd like to discuss in this video, and believe me, I'll make plenty more like it, is the economy. But not about inflation or gas prices. Everyone knows that those have been going up on Kamala's watch. Instead, I want to give you context to some insane clips you're about to see. Her father was a professor at Stanford. Sounds good so far. Alright, but he was labeled a Marxist scholar by Stanford. Now, just because he studied that doesn't mean that he believes in the policy. But does his daughter. In case you didn't know, Marxism is a no bueno strategy for the economy. Now, while you Google if there's ever been a successful Marxist economy, I'll continue on with the video because it's going to take you a while. Here's Kamala talking about the economy.
It has to be about a goal of saying everybody should end up in the same place.
Everyone should end up in the same place. Where have I heard that before? Okay, don't worry though, she clarifies it, so it's not that bad.
So there's a big difference between equality and equity. Equality suggests often everybody should get the same thing. Well, that often assumes everybody started out in the same place, as opposed to equity, which is everyone should end up in the same place. And if you then understand not everybody started out in the same place, you understand some people need more. So we all end up in the same place.
Never mind, it's worse. She's confirmed it multiple times. Kiss your dreams goodbye. I don't know what to say. Now, I'm not sure if she knows what she's saying, but on the off chance that she does, I'm scared. If you don't want to miss the next episode of The Nate Friedman Show, be sure to hit the notification bell, and I'll see you in the next video.